Hey, welcome. Do you remember how yesterday we looked at this image and we talked about how if you have a circle, half is the same thing as 2/4 or 4/8 or 8/16 or 16/32? You're just cutting the pieces into smaller pieces and you get more pieces. We're going to be doing a similar kind of problem with this page, which is page number 7 in our packet. So in this one we just kept doubling. So I had something like a circle and I said, oh, I've got half of it, and I colored it in. And then I said that my evil roommate came in when I wasn't looking and cut it all in half. But you don't have to, when you have equivalent fractions, it doesn't just have to be halved again. Like, you don't have to just double it. You can also cut it in a bunch of pieces immediately. So like, what if I had half? So I know I have half. And then my roommate comes in when I'm not looking and cuts it not just once, but this many times to make it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now there are 8 total, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So he or she doesn't have to just cut it in half. They can also cut it multiple times. So how do we go from 1/2 to an 1/8? Before we were just doubling the numbers, but this time, 2 times what equals 8? Well, 4. So 1 time, well, it's easier to go up top because 1 times 4 is 4. And if I wanted to, I could also, instead of just going to 4/8, what if they came and just cut it 100 times? I'm not going to do that because that would be insane to draw that many lines. But what if they cut it into 100 as many pieces? So I could go like this, times 100 and times 100. What's 2 times 100? 200. What's 1 times 100? 100. So it could be just a whole bunch of little pieces, and I have 100 out of 200 pieces. So the number can be anything. So they're really infinite equivalent fractions. It can just go on forever and ever. It could be 1,000,000, 2 millionths. So when you look at this problem here, and they're trying to get you to think about 2/5 equals 6 what? For that first one. So they say 2/5 equals 6 what? And you fill in the blanks. Well, one way to do that is to draw it out. And fifths are probably the easiest to do as a rectangle. So I might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I have 2 of those fifths, they look like that. And then I have to think 6 what? No, see, honestly, in this case, the drawing might not really even be that helpful. So 2, not 4, but 6. I have to do each one into 3 pieces. Ay, ay, ay. And then I can color them in. See, honestly, I don't know if I would even do this. But I can see, oh, it equals 6 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I could draw it, and that was hard. That took a long time. And you guys, I don't really need to draw it. It's nice to draw sometimes to make sense. I'm like, oh yeah, 2 out of 5. If I had 2/5 of something, 2/5 of a candy bar, it's the same as 6/15. But if I just see this problem, 2/5 equals 6 what? All I need to really think about is, well, how did I get from the 2 to the 6? Oh, I multiplied it by 3. How did I get from the, so now 5, whatever you do at the top, you do at the bottom. So once you know what that number is, oh, it's times 3. What's 5 times 3? It's 15. So if you know you have 3 times as many pieces for the top, you know you need to have 3 times as many pieces for the bottom. And it's the same thing if you have the bottom. Because all it means is you're just cutting up the piece into smaller and smaller and smaller pieces. So if you have 3 times as many pieces total, well, you yourself are going to have 3 times as many pieces. They're just going to be smaller pieces. So you don't really even necessarily need to draw it. So like the next one is 1/3 equal. Let's do a harder one while I'm here. Let's do number 3. 7/4 equals blank 20ths. And you need to think about what is the number. See how they have a blank right there? You have to say 7 times what and then 4 times what. So we can't do this one yet because it's the mystery number, but 4 times what equals 20? 5, right? 4 times 5 is 20. And you can always use your multiplication chart for that. If you're not sure, 4 times what equals 20? Oh yeah, 4 times 5 equals 20. Once you know that, you know that they've just divided up the whole thing into 5 times as many pieces. The pieces just got way smaller. So each piece was cut up into 5 smaller pieces. So if you cut up the total pieces into 5 smaller pieces, you yourself are going to have 5 times as many smaller pieces. So whatever you do at the bottom, you do the top. 4 times 5 is 20. So I say, well, what's 7 times 5? And I'll know how many pieces I have. So I get out this guy if I don't remember. 7 times 5 is 35. So I just solved it. 35/20ths. And that is a funny fraction because the top number is bigger than the smaller one, but sometimes it does happen. We'll learn more about that later. But basically, whatever you do the bottom, you do the top. 4 was multiplied by 5 to make 20, so that means there used to be 4 pieces. Now there are 20 little pieces, and we had 7 of those pieces, and we multiply that times 5 too. So whatever you do the top, you do the bottom. Times 5 times 5. So please do page number 7.